Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello.
Whenever you are listening and wherever you are, this is Fit Disney, helping you make sure your Disney resort is a good fit for you and your family. Today we are on location at Walt Disney World's Contemporary Resort. Staying at the Contemporary Resort feels a little like being Disney royalty. Maybe it's confirmation bias on my part since I've wanted to stay here my whole life. The staff here seem to express that even within the Disneyverse, this place is special. It opened on October 1st, 1971, the same day as the Magic Kingdom and the Polynesian Resort, so it is as original Disney as it gets here in Florida. The Contemporary is unique. The name Contemporary was chosen over the Tempo Resort, and if you ever had the pleasure of owning a Ford Tempo, you'll know that anything with that name could have taken on the same negative mojo the car created. What a nightmare. Philosophically, it has been contemporary as long as Florida Disney has existed, so the name continues to be fitting. The Contemporary is known for a lot of features. You can very easily walk into the Magic Kingdom. It's the hotel through which the monorail runs. Actually, 2 monorails run. You can view the Magic Kingdom fireworks better here than any other venue, and from certain vantage points could catch a glimpse of the Epcot fireworks as well. You have Bay Lake access, sitting just across from the Wilderness Lodge and 2 now defunct Disney properties, Discovery Island and River Country. And you can watch the progress being made on the new Lakeshore Lodge. Lakeshore Lodge is the final nail in the coffin of River Country, R.I.P. There's fantastic dining options, and the character dining at Chef Mickey's only has Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Pluto, Donald, and sometimes Daisy. Finally, one curious anecdote is the fact that the Contemporary is where President Richard Nixon once said in his speech to the press, "I am not a crook." 9 months later, he had expressed that he had done crook-like things, and he resigned. So we are mixing all of that together to give you this very elegant, but not pretentious, walking right into the OG theme park with some fine dining, monorail running, firework gazing favorite Disney resort for many, many people. It's at the top of the list for the year built, and this 15-story A-frame is fascinating. After the steel frame and center elevator towers were built, prefab modular hotel rooms were slid into place. Interesting stuff. Since then, nearly 30 Disney resorts, with their add-ons and ground-up construction, have been added to the Walt Disney World collection. It is a true Disney landmark, as iconic as can be, and others will certainly be envious of your stay at the Contemporary. The Contemporary is very average in terms of its size, with 10 resorts having more rooms and 8 having less. The main Contemporary Tower has about 500 rooms, while the Garden Wing has another 250, and the most recently built Bay Lake Tower has about 300. It's hard with exact numbers since many rooms can be joined to make larger rooms or subdivided to make more smaller rooms, but at roughly 950 rooms, it is the 11th largest Disney resort. In 1971, the Contemporary Resort was likely the 2nd or 3rd largest resort in Florida. The property sits on about 55 acres on this lakeside property, with the rooms concentrated into 3 large guest room areas. Even with 2 large towers, the density of the property is not overwhelming at all. There are just 17 rooms per acre, fairly average by Disney standards. The Contemporary Resort is as far as you can go north on the Walt Disney World property. World Drive, the 9-mile road that stretches from Celebration at Interstate 4, ends just past the Contemporary. It is a vital member of the Magic Kingdom resorts that include the Polynesian, Grand Floridian, Wilderness Lodge, and some would say Fort Wilderness as well. Unless there is severe weather, you'll want to walk to the Magic Kingdom. The monorail runs from the Contemporary clockwise, so you have to stop 3 times before getting around Seven Seas Lagoon, and will end up taking you 3 times longer than if you just walked. I mean, take the monorail for fun, of course, or when you want to get over to Epcot, but it is not faster when you're heading to the Magic Kingdom. With your Disney adrenaline pumping, you can make the walk from the lobby to security in 6 to 7 minutes. It is just 0.45 miles or 0.72 kilometers, but it does not even feel that far. With all the resort buses pulling up on your left and Space Mountain looming on your right and the monorail running right over your head, you won't even notice the distance. If you're going to Epcot, budget about 45 minutes via the monorail from the time you enter security in the Contemporary lobby. You will disembark at the Transportation Center, change to the Epcot line, and make the roughly 3 to 4 mile jaunt down to Epcot. Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, and Disney Springs, in the best traffic times, will take 12 to 15 minutes once your bus departs the Contemporary. Being close to the Magic Kingdom and far from the other parks is one consideration, but all resorts have their pros and cons, and that's why you're ensuring this is a good fit for you and your family. Walking around the property, the Contemporary Resort is a collection of 3 separate units. The Contemporary Tower, the original A-frame, also called the Main Tower, the South Garden Wing on the south side of the property and part of the original construction, and the Bay Lake Tower, a Disney Vacation Club hotel finished in 2009 and sits where the original North Garden Wing rooms were. This map from 1978 shows where that old North Garden Wing was prior to Bay Lake Tower's construction. The Contemporary Tower has its lobby and concierge on the first floor. Food sources here include Contemporary Grounds for some coffee, snacks, Steakhouse 71, a classic sit-down dining option, and both of these are on the first floor. The fourth floor, in the famous open atrium area, has a quick service option called the Contempo Cafe, the Outer Rim Lounge, and Chef Mickey's, a character dining experience. And as mentioned, you'll meet the Fab Five here: Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Goofy and Donald, and sometimes Daisy. The California Grill is one of the premier dining establishments at Disney and is on the 15th floor. This may be the single best place for Magic Kingdom fireworks viewing, although there are many great views of the fireworks at the Contemporary. Check-in for the California Grill is on the 2nd floor, and you'll take a private elevator from there. The 4th floor area also has some shopping options: Bayview Gifts, Fantasia, and Fantasia Market. There's also a great arcade, the Game Station, here on the 4th floor. The central beams are adorned with hundreds of mosaic tiles by famed Disney artist Mary Blair. These murals are worth your time to stop and take them in. Oh, also, the main tower elevators feature Mickey's voice when you arrive on the floor. There are plenty of recreational activities available on the lakeside. There is a large pool with an aquatic feature area for small children and a large water slide for older kids and everyone else. There's no age or height restrictions, but kids must be able to ride by themselves. There are life jackets at all Disney pools to use free of charge. Continuing by the pool, there is a snack shack called the Sand Bar, a smaller, more private pool, and the docks for boats running to Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness. The Garden Wing is a series of 2-story buildings, just rooms, but with close access to the outdoor amenities at the Contemporary Tower. Bay Lake Tower does not have restaurants, but does have the Cove Bar by their pool for drinks and light bites. There's also a kids' aquatic fun area and a water slide, and you'll find cornhole, bocce, and shuffleboard too. Connecting the Bay Lake Tower and the Contemporary Tower is the Skyway Bridge, but please note the bridge is off the 4th floor on the main tower and on the opposite side of the monorails, but the 5th floor in Bay Lake Tower. Among the 3 buildings, there is one fitness center located on the 3rd floor of the main building. The Olympiad Fitness Center is an out-of-the-way, understated, but not too small. It has a nice little entryway here, and then is full of techno gym equipment, cable machines, benches, some rowing machines that look a little like the Tron light cycles. The only caution I would have here is the low ceiling. Take care not to jab your hands through the ceiling tiles if you're doing some overhead presses. What about other options for fitness then? You could get some nice stair climbing workouts on the exterior stairwells on the main tower. You can take the elevator to the 11th floor. Floors above the 11th require a card. These rooms look down into the atrium on one side and either across Bay Lake or right into the Magic Kingdom on the other. The hallways have the great retro vibe that gels perfectly with the Incredibles themed walls and decor. You can take the exterior stairs all the way down to the 4th floor, but there is no re-entry along the way once outside. You're outside. You got to go down to the 4th to get back in. Now, in the Bay Lake Tower, you can access the staircases from the indoor hallways and re-enter the hallways from the stairwell on each floor. So you could start up at the 16th floor, walk a hallway end to end, take the stairs down, walk back to the other end of the hallway, and so on. Keep in mind, it's fine to knock out some steps on a brisk walk, but please be respectful and safe as you walk. Don't be that guy or gal jogging in the hallway. There is a 0.89 mile or 1.42 kilometer jogging walking trail that winds around the property, and there are some signs to guide you. You should not get too lost here. If you start outside the Bay Lake Tower lobby, turn right and head north around the building, cut between the tower and the pool, then between the Cove Bar and the tower toward the Contemporary Tower. Continue straight south past the pool until you hit the garden wing and cut left at the sign. Take that sidewalk around, making a loop until you're back to that split-off point. Retrace your steps under the Contemporary Tower and pass where you came in from the Cove Bar, back under the bridge to the Bay Lake Tower lobby. What if we want to get a little more distance? Well, we know it's 0.45 miles or 0.72 kilometers to the entrance of the Magic Kingdom, but you could continue on from there. At 0.6 or 0.96 kilometers, you'll hit the monorail station, and at 1.3 miles or just over 2 kilometers, you'll reach the center of the Grand Floridian property. At 1.9 miles, just over 3 kilometers, you'll reach the middle of the Polynesian Resort. And another 0.3 miles and you'll be at the Transportation Center. That would give you 2.2 miles one way or 3.52 kilometers. So that's an option for a 4.4 mile run or walk, just over 7 kilometers round trip from the Contemporary entrance. And a side note, consider the distances to be just about equal from either the Bay Lake or the main Contemporary Tower lobbies. Here's a question that comes up sometimes. Can you walk to the Transportation Center directly from the Contemporary? If you ask the staff at the resort, they will likely say no. That could be because the road outside the Contemporary drops down under the canal connecting Bay Lake to the Seven Seas Lagoon, and oftentimes there's large equipment stationed down there to pump any water back off of the road. However, there are no signs warning you. There's nothing saying not to walk under the waterway. I got pretty close to it and no Disney officials materialized to arrest me. So I'm not advising you to do this, but if you did walk under the waterway on World Drive, it is 1.4 miles or 2.24 kilometers to the Transportation Center. And then if you continued around from there, the full loop would be 3.6 miles or 5.76 kilometers. If you've watched our other Fit Disney reviews, you know that we incorporate a challenge relative to the resort or resort area we are reviewing. So it's time to issue the Contemporary Resort Challenge. Now, due to the proximity of some of the best Disney resorts, I felt it would be appropriate to incorporate all these incredible deluxe lodging sites into this challenge. We'll call it the Big Four Deluxe Resort Run Walk Challenge, and depending on which resort is your home, that's where you'll start. So we will start just as we did before from the Contemporary, around through the Grand Floridian and Polynesian, and to the Transportation Center. From here, continue on the road to the east, Seven Seas Drive, cross over World Drive, and then it becomes Timberline. And it's 0.6 miles up to the entrance of Wilderness Lodge. From the Contemporary, here and back, you will have 5.6 miles or 8.96 kilometers under your belt. If you really want to do some distance, you can add another 2.5 miles from here by running over to Fort Wilderness, taking Wilderness Road east, the intersection of Big Pine Road and Fort Wilderness Trail. And you can go straight or turn right and make the loop right back to the jump-off spot before heading back to the Wilderness Lodge. Adding the Fort Wilderness Loop gives you an 8.1 mile or nearly 13 kilometer run. Finish either the Wilderness Lodge Loop or incorporate Fort Wilderness, and you'll finish the Contemporary Resort Challenge. Most Disney resorts are in clusters. As we've just seen, the Contemporary, Polynesian, Grand Floridian, Wilderness Lodge around the Magic Kingdom. The Skyliner cluster has the Riviera, Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, and Art of Animation. The Disney Springs cluster has the Old Key West, Port Orleans, and Saratoga Springs. Finally, the Epcot cluster has the Beach and Yacht Clubs, the Boardwalk, and the Dolphin and Swan. You know your way around the Magic Kingdom resorts now, but if you are interested in getting to some of the other clusters, here are some relative distances to each. We're not suggesting you run, walk, or bike to any of these other resorts and resort areas unless you're able to find suitable sidewalk safe routes. See our video on sidewalks in the Disneyverse to help you plan a safe route that utilizes sidewalks and walking paths. With that said, here are some distances. From the Contemporary Resort to Coronado Springs is 4.6 miles, 7.36 kilometers. To Port Orleans, 4.9 miles or 7.84 kilometers. To the Boardwalk, 5.5 miles, that's 8.8 kilometers. And to the Dolphin or Swan, 5.6 miles, which is 8.96 kilometers. If you want to go to the Yacht Club or Beach Club, it's 6.1 miles or 9.76 kilometers. And to the Riviera, 6.2 miles or 9.92 kilometers. If you want to go all the way down to the All-Star Resort, it's 6.3 miles or just over 10 kilometers. Or over to Saratoga Springs, it's 6.4 miles or 10.24 kilometers. Disney Springs is 6.6 miles, that's 10.56 kilometers. Caribbean Beach at an even 7 miles or 11.2 kilometers. The Old Key West at 7.1 miles or 11.36 kilometers. The Animal Kingdom Lodge, 7.3 miles, which is 11.68 kilometers. And way down south, the Pop Century at 7.7 miles, which is 12.32 kilometers. And the Art of Animation at 7.8 miles, which is 12.48 kilometers. A few overall impressions of the Contemporary Resort. Location. If you have to pick one hotel with the best location at Walt Disney World, it's hard to argue against the Contemporary. It is significantly closer to the Magic Kingdom than pretty much any other resort, even though the Grand Floridian is not a long walk. From the Contemporary, it feels like from the moment you cross World Drive in the parking lot, you have arrived. Space Mountain's on your right. You've got a private security entrance. It's a noble and legitimate argument to make for the Grand Floridian and Polynesian, as well as those really close Epcot resorts like the Yacht Club and Beach Club. But on our list, this hotel just has to get number one on the location rankings, and in Walt Disney World, that carries a lot of weight. Some resort perks. The Bay Lake Tower and the Contemporary Tower each have their own outdoor recreation areas, lake access, games, pools, water slides, and each with a poolside bar and snack bar. The restaurants in the original tower are fantastic. The views are tremendous from all over the property, and you don't have to have a firework view room to enjoy incredible fireworks views. There are hundreds of spots all over the property. The Contemporary is always, understandably, going to be one of the most expensive places to stay at Walt Disney World. But if you study well and plan accordingly, using the ultra close distance to your advantage, I could make the argument that you can do about as much in 2 days at the Magic Kingdom staying here as you could do in 3 days staying off-site. How? Well, there's a lot of contingencies and it depends on lots of other factors. But I'm saying that the time saved by a 10-minute walk from the time you leave your room to Main Street, it's really hard to measure. We'll release a video in the near future on the time you save by staying here and how you can really maximize a Magic Kingdom visit. One final pearl here, if you see the bald cypress trees in the parking lot are losing their needles, do not park underneath them. Just trust me on this. As always, friends, hold everything lightly, but plan well and make sure your Disney resort is a good fit for you. Take care, and we will see you real soon.